Hey, good Saturday morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It is absolutely gorgeous here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Something's wrong here this morning. This Saturday morning, there's something wrong. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west, and it looks like the sun's in the west, and you're absolutely right. Hey, it's Friday evening at sunset here in Southern California, because when you start watching this at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, I'm going to be down here surf fishing, putting together a great show for you a little bit later here today on Saturday. We'll have some surf fishing fun for you because we've got a whole bunch of people coming down, and we are going to put the wood to some corvina, maybe a halibut, maybe some yellowfin croaker. We'll have that all for you. But it's time for the morning briefing, so I've got a lot to cover with you. We'll talk about Mexico. We're going to talk long-range fishing. We'll talk about how the halibut bite was here in the local Southern California area. We'll talk surf fishing. We'll talk a little bit about some trout that are biting and so much more. You know what time it is. Even though it's evening, it's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, I don't care what time it is. That coffee is really, really good. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you can do that for us here at Friedman Adventures. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures channel here on YouTube. Also, tick the bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. And share these videos with a friend. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Boy, it is great to be with you. A little breezy here this evening, but tomorrow morning it's going to be flat, gorgeous, calm, with very little wind at all, so it bodes well for some good surf fishing. It's been so good that I am dying to really get into it myself. Tomorrow my son Philip is going to be here. The elf Greg Bates is going to be here. Our Isaac Parcells is going to be here with his kids, and we've also got Michael Limon, Daniel Lightfoot. Everybody is coming down to have some fun at the beach tomorrow, and hopefully we'll put the wood to them. All right, I want to remind you all to go back and take a listen to that great podcast Danny Cadota did. What a book, The History of Tatty Lures. You are going to love it. Scott Manson. Scott, you have done such a fabulous job. I told you that. I said it yesterday on the morning briefing. I have to reiterate it one more time again. What a job, and what a job everybody on that podcast did, from Danny to you, Scott, to Joey from Tatty Lures. It was something to behold. It was a great one, and I hope you go back and take a listen to it here today. All right, let me start you out in Mexico and tell you that Cabo San Lucas remains really good. Now, up there at San Jose del Cabo is where our source, we have many sources down there, but Sean Morgan's been checking in with us on a regular basis. Sean says, I don't have to go very far at all, a couple of miles, and we are into striped marlin, and on many of the days, we'll release double digits on the striped marlin. Some other days we'll get 2 or 3, but some days we'll get a dozen marlin that we catch and release. And man, that is some good fishing. Now, further offshore from Cabo are some yellowfin tuna. Most of it's been in the 20 to 60 pound range, but there's a few fish over 100 pounds also. It's been a little breezy and difficult to get to that area, but once you get out there, you can find some schools of YFT out there in that area. Laredo, as our friends from Current Jam have been showing us, they've had good wintertime yellowtail fishing in Loreto, and I love that place. It is so beautiful. It's got the sense of a small Mexican town. The little church there, Nuestra Senora de Loreto, is beautiful and full of so much history, founded by Salvatierra, Father Salvatierra, if I have that right. And boy, I'll tell you, I love that place. And you throw some yellows and dorado, and a little bit later on in the year, some marlin and billfish, and man, you've got it licked. Really a beautiful place. Now, San Quintin, good yellowtail action down there when weather has not been a factor. There's been some excellent yellowtail action. Yo-yo ironfish, really good down there out of San Quintin. Located 140 miles down below the border. That's where you find that. And then Ensenada, we have so many dear friends down in Ensenada, and they've been doing really, really well down there on a variety of different species. Big bonita, occasional yellowtail, decent calico bass if you want to focus on that. Whitefish, sheepshead, rockfish. It's really been outstanding. So hopefully that's going to continue south of the border. Can I take a peek at that sunset? Oh, it's starting to come together. Looks like it's going to be absolutely gorgeous here this evening. And man, I'll tell you, you cannot beat a winter time evening like we've got here today. All right, let's jump across the border here into Southern California and just talk about what in general is going on. You know, it's the dead of winter, so you wouldn't think too much is going on, but we've actually had some pretty good fishing. First of all, rockfish season is closed here in Southern California. It's open in Mexico, that's why we're talking about rockfish down there. But up here, you can't fish rockfish until April 1st. Used to be March 1st, it's been bumped to April 1st. So we've got a little while before we can start hammering away at the rockfish. In the meantime, guys have been fishing the wintertime bass and the wintertime halibut. Some days are really, really good, other days not so good. Now, tonight, the new Del Mar will be out fishing twilight sand bass, and I have no doubt they're going to have some good fishing because they've been putting the wood to those fish. So really, really nice fishing on the twilight trips, both on the sand and calico bass. Most of the time you're fishing fluorocarbon, 20 pound to 40 pound, as heavy as you can get away with, because those fish will run you right back into the structure, a lead head, and frozen squid, fresh dead squid is what we like to call it, or sliding egg sinker like a 2 ounce with a big hook, a 5/0 size hook, eagle claw hook, or black tail hook. Those both work really, really well. And again, that bite's been pretty good. Now, that bite extends from down there in San Diego all the way up to the Channel Islands. It's been quite good here recently on that. Now, yesterday on the Native Sun, the last time we heard, they had only one halibut. They had several shorts, and they lost a fish at Gaff. Nice 30-plus pounder is what they estimated that halibut to be. Man, that hurts. That really is something that'll bug you for a while when you lose a fish like that. That would have taken over as the leader on board the Native Sun out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. Remember, they've got a competition going on with thousands of dollars in prizes available, and their 5 fish on the leaderboard are all over 20, but this was a 30-pounder, man. It was a gorgeous fish, but it only suggests to me, and I've been saying it for a while, that there are bigger fish around, and a bigger one will be caught. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see some more of those big fish. Now we go up there to the Aloha Spirit out of Cisco's in Oxnard. They are in the boatyard, but I talked to Pat O'Brien, and Pat said, Phil, we're done. We're getting back in the water. Hopefully we'll be running this weekend, so maybe the Aloha Spirit will be available. Now Pat, and I bring him up, not only because he'll be running this weekend, but because Pat has dropped the fluorocarbon down to 15. That's what'll get you a bite on the halibut. That's what will spell success for you. Drop it down, choose a good hot bait, and it makes all the difference in the world. So I salute you, Pat O'Brien, on the Aloha Spirit, and we'll be getting some updates from Pat here this weekend, perhaps. So hopefully we'll hear a little bit more from him on Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe he'll be out putting the wood to some flatties. They've had some pretty good fishing up there. Native Sun, on the trip previous to Friday's trip, they had double digits on the fish. I think 12 fish, a dozen halibut, something like that, released 19. So a little bit down day on Friday, but hopefully it's going to come roaring back here on Saturday. We'll be watching it very, very closely. There's still sculpin and whitefish for many of the local boats from the border. Again, San Diego up to the Channel Islands. A lot of guys are focusing on that. Those do not constitute rockfish, so they're able to fish those species and provide some really excellent table fare for all of you. So you've got that going on here in the pretty much the whole Southern California area. So that leads us into reminding you all that it's tax season, and man, I'll tell you, you want to get that burden off your shoulders. Plus, you want to get your refund a little bit quicker, don't you? And there's no better guy to go to than my friend Tim Marquez. I trust him. I loved him. He's the kind of guy that volunteers for all the good deeds we're doing out there in the community. And man, you got to respect a guy like that. Best income tax. Give Tim a call today. Get that burden off your shoulders. Get your refund a little bit earlier. Book a long range trip with your refund and have some fun. So again, Best income tax. Give Tim a call. He will treat you right. I guarantee you that. All right, in the surf. Well, we're surf fishing here Saturday morning right now, and I'll have some of those details. Maybe I'll throw up a couple of photos here shortly here this morning on Saturday morning, because I'm excited about this bite. It is beautiful, and it's gonna bite tomorrow. I can feel it. Huge tide, by the way, here for Saturday morning. They're talking about an 8.5 3-foot high tide around 9 a.m. in the morning. I like fishing at daybreak, 6 a.m. You're going to have like the gray light. 6 you should be fishing, but that bite window should be about 7 until 11, like that. That 4-hour window around that high tide is when you can find some really, really good fishing. Now, we're going to have a variety of stuff going on. Bait fishing. I'll be throwing a Castmaster or some kind of little chrome jig pretty much the whole time. I'll probably stick with that. My son Philip likes to fish Lucky Craft, so we'll see how it all comes out. There's been corvina, there's been some yellowfin croaker. Of course, the barred perch fishing has been really, really good. Down around San Diego, down around the Huntington Beach Fair, here in Huntington Beach and Surfside, up in the Santa Monica Bay. We've seen some really good barred perch fishing, and up there around the Ventura County line, it's been outstanding also. Really great barred perch fishing has been going on, and they are a cooler water loving fish, so wintertime is when you get your best barred perch bites, and we certainly are seeing evidence of that right now, and hopefully we're seeing evidence here on Saturday morning in Surfside, as we're going to be giving it heck, I'll tell you that. Some people like to drop the fluorocarbon way, way, way down. I know guys like Noli Yan Jr., who, by the way, is in the Amazon right now. Noli likes to fish 2-pound, 4-pound when he's fishing corvina. Other guys fish heavier. I'm going to suggest to some of our guys they fish a 2-hook rig with a 2-ounce sinker and wing it out there past the waves and see if they can't pick off maybe a spot fin croaker or pick off some really nice perch in that neck of the woods. Remember, corvina are right here in the surf. I mean, a foot or two of water, and you'll find those corvina, those beans love to hang right in that shallow water. Hey, heating and air conditioning is something that you've got to take care of, and John Lopez is our man from Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. If you're having trouble or you need some help, you need an honest, hardworking guy to solve your problems, you want to call Efficient and my dear friend John Lopez. Make sure you check in with John right now. Lobster hoop netting has been fantastic, and this is the perfect kind of an evening to be doing the lobster hoop netting. I'll tell you that right now, because you've had that stormy weather. Lobster like to crawl right after all that stormy weather, and it certainly is beautiful now, and it's going to remain that way for a while. I'm telling you, the local lobster hoop netters have been doing great. The guys going to Catalina Island have been doing fantastic. It's just been really, really steady. You're allowed 7 per hoop netter, 7 lobster, and man, if they are a pound each, you got to pay $50 a pound for the darn things right now. So at a pound each, you can figure it out, or a pound and a half. Let's say you have 10 pounds of lobster. I can figure that out pretty easy. $500 worth of langosta. So it pays to go hoop netting, no question about it. And I refer you all to the promarahi.com website. They have all kinds of tutorials on lobster hoop netting and so much more. And you want to have all the legalities under control. You want to make sure you're up to snuff on licensing and gauges and all of that stuff. So I'm going to send you over to Promar, their website, and check out their great tutorials. You will enjoy that a lot. Don't forget, we've got a great 5-day trip coming up here, April the 4th through the 9th, on board the beautiful Independence. That's going to be a great trip. That's bluefin tuna, baby. It's got it written all over. It's got yellows on the coast, maybe some great rock cod fishing. I'm always hoping for that. It's going to be a fabulous 5-day trip. It sails on April the 4th, back on April the 9th. Philip's birthday, by the way, my son's birthday. So it's going to be a big celebration and a lot of fun. Call the Independence office or stop by the Bart Hall Show in San Diego. That is going to be February 15th through the 18th, day after Valentine's Day. We're going to be at the Del Mar Fairgrounds goofing around. I'll be walking around there for sure on Saturday, maybe back for more fun on Sunday, and who knows, I might even go Thursday and Friday. I am so tempted to do it and have some fun. I had so much fun at the Long Beach show, and this one promises to be another great event. You can drop by the Independence booth and say hi to Paulina for me, and make sure you take a look at their great trips, and if you can jump on our 5-day trip, that would be great. Sam De La Torre and Island Fishing Tackle, they're going to have all kinds of great bargains for you, and it's always great to spend time with Sam and his great crew from Island Fishing Tackle. They'll be at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Sam said he had a great show in Long Beach, and he said last year at Del Mar, fabulous. really, really did a lot of business and had a great time. So again, make sure you say hi to Sam also. All right, we're going to watch it for you very, very closely, my friends. We'll continue to watch the long range situation. Did I talk about the long range? Did I skip over that? Man, I'm starting to get like, I won't mention anybody, but some of us old guys are starting to lose our minds a little bit. Independent sport fishing, they are headed back by now. They're almost back to San Diego. You know, the yellowfin tuna bite here over the course of the past week or so has been a little bit more difficult for the long range guys. Now remember, these are trips that take off and go for 16 days. In the case of the Royal Polaris, they're on their way on a 22-day trip. They left Friday morning, heading south. I'm not sure how far they're going to go. Maybe they'll end up at Clipperton or something like that. But they are on a run, and these guys go way down the Baja coast. They are focusing on giant yellowfin tuna and wahoo. And here lately, that yellowfin bite's been a little bit more finicky. For everybody, it's been finicky. Now, earlier on, there was some good fishing. In fact, the Royal Polaris offloaded 16 YFTs over 200 pounds and one over 300 pounds. And they had some good wahoo fishing also. Here recently on the XL, they changed it up, went wahoo fishing, had 30 fish on the Who. So hopefully we're going to see some better YFT fishing. It's just a matter of the light switch going on for the long range boys, and they'll get all over it here very, very soon. So hopefully that is going to occur a little bit later here on Saturday. We'll watch it very closely. Hey, I hope your team wins on Sunday, but of course I'll be back with another morning briefing. And then we're going to have a special episode, the pre-game Friedman Adventures Coast to Coast live show. Now, here's the plan, and whether it happens or not, I don't know. But the plan is my son Patrick is back in Florida right now. Patrick's going to be fishing in Florida. We're going to be fishing here in Southern California. We're going to have a little competition. The Coast to Coast, California versus Florida, will be on the air, and we're shooting for like 12 noon on Super Bowl Sunday. Don't watch that crazy pregame crapola. Tune in to the Friedman Adventures channel. We'll be catching some fish. We'll talk some football. We'll see who we think, Patrick thinks, is going to win the game. Will it be the Niners, favored by 1.5, or will KC pull a rabbit out of a hat and win another one? We'll see about that. So don't miss that show either. Don't miss going back and watching the Danny Cadota show. That was a great one, and that is a book, History of Tatty Lures, that you've just got to have. And of course, we've been doing a lot of Mexico coverage here recently. You want to check that out also. All right, my friends, it is another beautiful, it's not morning, but it's morning. You're watching this in the morning, so it's morning, but it's evening. And man, what a sunset. You know, that's a nice treat for both of us to check that beautiful view out and realize just how blessed we truly are here in SoCal. All right, have a great Saturday, a wonderful weekend, and as always, I hope to see you really, really soon.